from LDB Woodworking, and today's project I think is very exciting. I'm going to build an entrance wall table from plywood. But before we get started, I just want to make this point that although I'm using plywood, you can basically use any timber that you would like. You can use a birch ply, or you can even use solid wood. I'm going to take you through the process, but the type of timber really is up to you. But before we get started, I think it's very important to bring you up close to what I'm going to do before we start cutting any timber, just to take you through the process and explain to you what I'm doing. And as I go through the process, you will probably understand a lot better what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So I'm going to bring you up and close, and you can have a look.
I have a printout here of all the sizes that you will need to make up this table. This picture is showing one sheet of plywood. So this is going to give you the complete construction for the whole table, except for the top and the bottom, which will be made or cut from a different sheet of plywood, and you will need a half a sheet for that. So ultimately this whole project will need 1 1/2 sheet of plywood to complete. So as you can see here, we're going to cut 4 pieces from this first sheet with an offcut on the side, which we will save for the pieces that we will cut later on, and I will explain to you later why we do this. So for now we need 2 pieces, and as you can see, panel 1 and panel 2 will have the following size: 1216 by 436. Panel 3 and 4 will be the size 1134 by 419. So there will be 2 of these and there will be 2 of these, because 1 piece will be used for the top of the table and 1 piece will be used for the bottom of the table. So after we cut these to size, we will cut all these small pieces from this in a fashion that looks like this, with all the sizes shown in the list. So as we go down from number 1 down to number 12, they will become continuously smaller, and then on this side the same will happen. So we will be breaking all these panels down then to give us these sizes as shown in the list. And then later on, after we have done all this cutting and sanding, we need to assemble this table. And in this column on the left hand side, this will show you the order in which you will have to assemble this. So by looking at this, you can see that if you look at this table from the front, the table will basically have this shape. So the longer pieces will be on the top and the bottom, and these will be your larger pieces. So this will be the order in which to assemble this. So it'll be component number 1 from this side, then component number A from this side, then component number 2, then B, then 3, then C, going ahead like this until you reach the last one, number 12, which will take you to the middle of the table, and then you will do it in the reverse order. As you can see, from number 12 we will go then back to K and J, and then this will go in the upward direction, which will make them larger, bringing you to a shape that looks something like this. Okay, so now I'm going to take these, I'm going to break the material down into the 4 different panels, and then afterwards we will mark them out and start cutting them in these smaller shapes. Okay. the board has been broken down, and I've given it a light sanding just so that I can easily draw the lines, and I can see where the markings are. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer all these sizes, so all these sizes of this list now to this panel, and then I will end up with a layout like I showed you in the close-up a little bit earlier on. So what I'm going to do now is take this list and transfer the lines. I've put a column in the middle here. Let me just bring this up a little bit closer. There we go. So this column on this right hand side here is the center line. So this is the center number of this, just to make it easy to transfer the sizes. So I'm going to draw a center line on this panel, and then all the distances from here to where the cut will be is the distances in this column over here. Okay, so I've got you off the tripod now, and I just want to zoom in a little bit here and show you what I've done. So I've marked the one panel. So all these sizes on this list have been transferred to this panel. And this is basically what it looks like when it's done. So you can see there's lots of lines. They go up and they come across. Now these pieces are then the corresponding pieces that we have on the list. So if I take my pencil, now I'm going to mark them. So I'm going to mark the first one, number 1. The second one, number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and this is the 12 pieces that we have on our list. And basically what I've done is from the center line, so I just put this paper closer. Let's see here. So this is the center line that I marked of this board, which is then the line where I've taken all the measurements from. So the second panel will be then 5 to 8 from this line. So from this line, 5 to 8 would be this line there. And the width of this panel is going to be 401. And then of course this distance from the edge of the board, this distance there up until there is going to be 401. So ultimately what you sit with is all these little U shapes that I have now marked out. And the next step would be to mark all 4 panels, which is what I'm going to do next. I'm not going to bore you with this. So I've gone ahead and I marked the other 3 panels as well. So all the markings have been done, and you can see them in front here with all the markings. At this stage, I just want to remind you that you should put the numbers as per the list on these panels, because when you start cutting them up, if they're not numbered, you will you will definitely have some difficulty putting them in the right spot. So now we're going to start cutting them. Now before we attack this with the saw, I just want to make clear that when I start cutting, I want to cut on the outside of the line. So let's say I want to cut panel number 5 in this case. When I put the saw down, I want to cut on the outside of the line. So this is where I actually want to do the cutting, so that after the cut and a little bit of sanding, I end up with the finished size as per the list. So I'm going to bring out the circular saw and the guide, and I'm going to start cutting these ones down. But I just wanted to make this clear so that you understand what I'm doing at this stage. And one last thing before I actually start the cutting, and this is to note that the pieces number 10, 11 and 12, J and K, so the last 5 lines of this cutting list. So if I draw a line through this way, these pieces will be cut from the offcuts of the board. So when you actually cut these pieces from the board, you'll notice that there's an offcut on the side, and this offcut will be used to cut these pieces. So I finished the first 2 panels. They are all cut down up until the smaller sizes that we discussed earlier on. So going back to the list, so all the way back to number 9 and all the way down to number I. So you can see these 2 panels. The first 2 ones I've cut down to number I. You can see these pieces are all then loose. So basically what I did is I cut it down with a circular saw, and because the saw has got a round blade, I only went up until the mark on the top side, but then that last little bit at the bottom I just cut that down with a Japanese saw just to loosen them up. Now you will notice that if you lift this up, there is a little bit of unevenness there on the corner, but these will all be sanded down before we start the assembly process. So I think I'm going to stop with this project up until this point and make this the first video of the series, and then part 2 will then consist of the sanding and the assembly. So yeah, thank you for watching, and please subscribe so that you get a notification for part 2, which will follow in about a week or so. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.